When you think about the richest countries in the world, what comes to mind? Maybe glittering skylines, luxury cars, or just, a lot of zeros in the bank. But measuring a country's wealth isn't as simple as looking at who's got the biggest pile of cash. To really get the full picture, you have to dig into numbers like GDP, which is basically the total value of everything a country produces. But that doesn't tell the whole story, especially if a country has a massive population. That's where GDP per capita comes in, showing us how much wealth is actually available for each person. And if you want to get even more precise, you've got to look at something called purchasing power parity, or PPP, which adjusts for how much things actually cost in different places. Suddenly, that dollar stretches a lot further in some countries than in others. Okay, so let's talk about the top 20 richest countries on Earth, and how each one got there, and what makes their cultures truly unique. Number 1 is the United States. Its wealth is rooted in a unique combination of historical factors: vast natural resources, a large and diverse population, and a culture of innovation. The U.S. industrialized rapidly in the 19th and 20th centuries, becoming a global leader in manufacturing, finance, and technology. Economic policies have generally favored entrepreneurship, free markets, and investment in education and infrastructure. Today, the U.S. dominates in tech, finance, entertainment, and advanced manufacturing, with Silicon Valley and Wall Street as global icons. Culturally, the U.S. is a melting pot, blending traditions from around the world. Its music, movies, and fashion influence global trends, while its values of individualism, freedom, and opportunity shape everything from business to art. From jazz and hip-hop to Hollywood blockbusters and Thanksgiving feasts, American culture is as diverse as its people. China comes in second. For centuries, China was a major world economy, but the 20th century brought turmoil. Since the late 1970s, economic reforms opened the country to global trade and investment, transforming it into the world's factory. Massive infrastructure projects, export-led growth, and a huge labor force fueled rapid industrialization. Today, China is a powerhouse in manufacturing, technology, and increasingly services and innovation. Chinese culture is one of the world's oldest, with deep roots in Confucian philosophy, family values, and respect for tradition. Festivals like Chinese New Year, the Mid-Autumn Festival, and Dragon Boat Festival are celebrated with vibrant parades, lanterns, and traditional foods. Calligraphy, martial arts, and tea culture are just a few of the many unique aspects that define daily life in China. Japan's rise began after World War II, when it rebuilt its economy with help from U.S. aid and a focus on high-quality manufacturing. The government partnered with industry to develop advanced technology, electronics, and automotive sectors. Japan's culture of precision, efficiency, and innovation made it a global leader in cars, robotics, and consumer electronics. Japanese culture is a blend of ancient tradition and cutting-edge modernity. From the art of tea ceremony and cherry blossom viewing to anime, manga, and J-pop, Japan's cultural exports are beloved worldwide. Respect, harmony, and meticulous attention to detail are central values, seen in everything from cuisine to architecture. Germany's wealth is built on a foundation of engineering excellence and a strong manufacturing base. After World War II, the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle, saw rapid reconstruction and growth. Germany's social market economy balances free enterprise with social welfare, and its exports, especially cars, machinery, and chemicals, are world-renowned. German culture is known for its love of order, efficiency, and craftsmanship. Festivals like Oktoberfest, classical music from composers like Beethoven and Bach, and a rich tradition of literature and philosophy all shape German identity. The country's regional diversity is reflected in its food, dialects, and customs. The United Kingdom's wealth has deep historical roots, from its colonial empire to the Industrial Revolution. London became a global financial center, and the UK's service sector, especially banking, insurance, and creative industries, drives its modern economy. Economic reforms in the 1980s liberalized markets and encouraged entrepreneurship. British culture is a tapestry of tradition and innovation. From Shakespeare and the Beatles to afternoon tea and Premier League football, the UK's influence is global. Its monarchy, humor, and love of the arts are central to its national character, while multiculturalism shapes its cities and cuisine. France combines a strong industrial base with world-famous agriculture, luxury goods, and tourism. Its wealth grew through centuries of empire, innovation, and cultural influence. Today, France's mixed economy features significant government involvement, a robust welfare state, and leadership in aerospace, energy, and fashion. French culture is synonymous with art, cuisine, and style. The French take pride in their language, literature, and philosophy. From the elegance of Parisian fashion to the tradition of long, leisurely meals and world-class wine, France's joie de vivre is legendary. Festivals, cinema, and a passion for debate are all part of daily life. India's path to wealth is powered by its youthful population and rapid growth in technology and services. After independence, India pursued a mixed economy, but liberalization in the 1990s unleashed private enterprise. Now, India is a global leader in IT, software, pharmaceuticals, and a rising force in manufacturing and startups. Indian culture is a vibrant mosaic of languages, religions, and traditions. Festivals like Diwali, Holi, and Eid are celebrated with color and joy. Bollywood films, classical music, yoga, and spicy cuisine are just a few of the cultural treasures. Family, spirituality, and hospitality are at the heart of Indian society. Brazil's wealth comes from abundant natural resources, agriculture, mining, and energy. Industrialization in the 20th century and a large domestic market helped Brazil become Latin America's largest economy. Tourism and a vibrant culture also contribute, though inequality and political challenges remain. Brazilian culture is famous for its energy and diversity. Carnival, samba, and bossa nova music pulse through the streets. Football is a national obsession, and the country's cuisine blends indigenous, African, and European influences. Warmth, creativity, and a love of celebration define Brazilian life. Italy's riches are rooted in centuries of trade, art, and innovation. The North is known for advanced manufacturing, especially cars, fashion, and machinery, while the South relies more on agriculture and tourism. Italy's small and medium-sized enterprises are the backbone of its economy, and its cultural heritage draws millions of visitors each year. Italian culture is a celebration of beauty, family, and tradition. From Renaissance art and opera to espresso and gelato, Italy's influence is everywhere. The Italian way of life values style, food, and close-knit communities, with festivals and historic cities at the heart of daily life. Canada's wealth is built on vast natural resources, oil, minerals, timber, and a stable political system. Its economy is highly integrated with the U.S., and it has a strong banking sector, advanced manufacturing, and a growing tech industry. Immigration and multiculturalism also fuel innovation and growth. Canadian culture is shaped by its natural beauty and diversity. From hockey and maple syrup to indigenous traditions and French-English bilingualism, Canada values inclusivity and politeness. Outdoor activities, multicultural festivals, and a strong sense of community are central to Canadian identity. Australia's prosperity comes from mining, agriculture, and a highly educated workforce. Economic reforms in the 1980s and 90s opened the country to global trade, and its proximity to Asia has boosted exports. Australia's cities are hubs for finance, education, and tourism. Australian culture is laid back and outdoorsy with a love for sports like cricket and surfing. Indigenous Aboriginal traditions blend with British heritage and multicultural influences. Barbecues, beach life, and a dry sense of humor are all part of the Aussie spirit. Russia's wealth is largely driven by its vast reserves of oil, gas, and minerals. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia transitioned to a market economy, though state control remains strong in key sectors. Energy exports fund much of the government and economy, while agriculture and arms manufacturing are also significant. Russian culture is rich in literature, ballet, and classical music. Hospitality, resilience, and a deep connection to history and the land are central values. Orthodox traditions, hearty cuisine, and grand celebrations like Maslenitsa and New Year's are woven into daily life. Saudi Arabia's riches are almost entirely due to oil. The discovery of petroleum in the 20th century transformed the kingdom from a desert society to a global energy giant. The government invests oil revenues in infrastructure, education, and now, ambitious plans to diversify the economy beyond oil. Saudi culture is deeply rooted in Islamic tradition and Bedouin heritage. Hospitality is legendary, with coffee and dates offered to guests. Traditional music, poetry, and camel racing are celebrated, while modern Saudi society is rapidly evolving, blending old customs with new influences. South Korea's economic miracle began in the 1960s, with government-led industrialization and export-driven growth. Investment in education, technology, and infrastructure turned the country into a leader in electronics, automobiles, and shipbuilding. Today, South Korea is a global tech powerhouse. Korean culture is dynamic and trend-setting, with K-pop, K-dramas, and Korean cuisine taking the world by storm. Confucian values of respect and family remain strong, while festivals, traditional hanbok clothing, and cutting-edge fashion coexist in daily life. The Netherlands has been a trading nation for centuries, thanks to its strategic location and maritime tradition. Its wealth comes from international trade, finance, agriculture, and innovation in water management. The Dutch economy is open, competitive, and highly globalized. Dutch culture is known for its openness, tolerance, and creativity. Bicycles, tulips, and windmills are iconic symbols. Art from masters like Rembrandt and Van Gogh, a love of cheese and stroopwafels, and lively festivals like King's Day all reflect the Dutch zest for life. Mexico's wealth is built on a mix of manufacturing, oil, and tourism. Economic reforms in the